Oh, you have chosen to land on my little frequently asked questions video. This is an introduction to my business, Not Yet Instruction LLC. I'm going to try and keep this brief as possible. My goal is always to make these videos, 5 minutes or less. But in this particular case, you would excuse me and have the patience to put this on in the background if you're not too serious about it, and just let it run for the 10 minutes that it should be. And I'm hoping to introduce you to a new concept here, based on my questions that I've had from people who have helped me develop this idea called Not Yet Instruction LLC, also known as Not Yeti, and the services that it provides in providing tutoring and other interventions that might help you as a parent help your student. Number one, what is Not Yet? The Instruction LLC, Not Yet, Not Yeti, is a mobile tutoring service founded by me, Mr. Yeti or Edward Mangione, that promotes literacy and learning through a growth mindset, encouraging students to embrace challenges with a not yet mentality. If you're curious about what not yet mentality is, I will have a video on that. Certainly, you can look for that at your own free time. That's up to you. I am always out there putting out free information for parents to chew on and have food for thought. Uh, it's also a disability-owned business, so that's something that you should also take into consideration when you're considering whether or not your student has specific needs like neurodivergence or other disability needs, for approachability and maybe even some kind of accommodation or ask of me where I might be able to be more approachable than other tutors. What subjects do I tutor is the next question that I get asked. I specialize in reading, writing, and foundational literacy skills. It's a very complex thing, learning to read. It's also a very complex thing, learning to write, but literacy is much more than reading and writing. So I want to emphasize the fact that I don't just tutor that, but that is one of my specialty packages that I offer. So look for that package, look for the literacy package video, and you'll learn a lot more about that. I also offer support in math, science, social studies, and other general homework help for grades K through 12. So that is definitely something that I have a long range of experience with in multiple categories. I'm always here to meet your individual needs. I'm not always able to do that, but I'm always aiming to try that. Number three, how does mobile tutoring work? So you might have seen my bus around and you might have seen all this other stuff emphasizing that I have a mobile literacy lab or a mobile bus that I tutor on. And that is actually one of the things that I'm hoping to have also a series of videos on how I implement that. So I don't want to waste too much of your time here, but let's just say that mobile tutoring allows me to come to your local libraries, your community centers, your other safe public spaces, and have sessions with your student based on your availability, even if those places might not necessarily be open. Since COVID, the libraries have closed their hours earlier every night, and some libraries are even having entire days where they're closed, and they don't even offer the guarantee of having tutoring services there anymore. They used to partner a lot with local nonprofits to offer tutoring services, and they would pay them like a small amount to keep them there, but that privilege of access isn't there for everyone. So that's where the mobile tutoring is definitely something I want you to consider as an advantage for me to give to you. The fourth question that I get asked, who provides the tutoring? Well, obviously I do. This is a single member LLC, so that just means there's only one of me. And so my time is limited. I do try to offer about, I want to say 80 hours a month in general dedication to the business. That doesn't mean I won't offer more. That's just my bottom line where I want to make sure that I'm able to pay the bills. There's a lot of expense that goes into a business, and I have to make sure that I can meet the means of the business as well as also have enough hours there to service the community. Uh, the the one thing that you have to know about me is that I am qualified in Special education, I have an associate's degree of applied science and foundations of teacher education. Instructional assisting, I have a certification in instructional strategies. I have a certification in inclusion. I actually have several certifications on top of that as well as experience working in a variety of settings. So you can ask me more questions when we meet, but that's basically my qualifications right there. They're to be a licensed practitioner in the field. But as a tutor, I'm not necessarily going to be the full-on teacher, and I'm not going to be a replacement for that teacher or a therapist or anything like that. So just keep that in mind. I'm specifically offering intervention services on a tutoring level. What are the ages or grade levels that I serve? Well, I kind of talked about this with K through 12. I can teach pre-K. I can also work with students who are college bound for college success strategies. There are different meets that a student has to meet inside the schools, so different benchmarks. That's one of my certifications that is instructional strategies focused on that. Um, so there's going to be different approaches based on the age that I'm working with. My primary focus though is 1 through 8th grade because that's the most balanced approach that I can give. Once a student reaches past 8th grade, they're pretty sufficient learners on their own, and the point of that is for them to kind of grow into their ability to learn and be self-sufficient. If they are still struggling at that point, remediation is always a thing that it gets discussed, but other than that, adult literacy support might also be available or other packages might be available. Just keep your eyes open for not yet instruction posts of special deals or special programs that are starting in attachment to that. Do we just, yep. How do I schedule a session? That's actually one of the easiest things you can do. You can email me and we can discuss your needs. I would very much appreciate that in your email if you give a brief description of the type of support you're looking for, and the age of your student and areas that your student might be struggling with in particular, that are not necessarily part of the academic structure. That that's completely up to you what information you share, but do know that I would like to meet with you before I sign any agreement to work with your students so I can at least highlight whether or not I can provide meaningful services because it's my goal to not waste your time, not waste your student time, and not waste my time. I want to make sure I offer the limited services I have to the best fits possible. And I realize competition sometimes means picking a service over another service uh, is part of that. What are your rates? That's number 7. That's a very good question. I do have my rates posted, and I would recommend you taking a look at my 3 packages, my Flip and Flex package, uh, my basic package, and my literacy package. Those 3 packages offer the best comprehensive idea of what I charge. Each one is rated at a different level of expertise. So the basic package, for example, is very basic tutoring, and so that's going to be based on my level of training, my level of education, and all that stuff. But then there's also things that you might see in the literacy package that include extra assessments or something like that that are part of that package. So I will charge a little bit extra because of those extra needs. And then of course the Flip and Flex package is a subscription package, so you don't have to get in trouble for not showing up and using that one. That one is really something for people who feel that tutoring is a financial obstacle, but still want access to services that can help um, that students succeed in areas that they struggle. And again, I would encourage looking at the different nuances of those 3 packages. Do you offer group tutoring? Is number 8. Yes, I do. Uh, I would, however, just keep this really short and sweet and say for students that are working in similar subjects and similar grade levels, that's definitely a possibility because it helps to encourage collaborative learning. But other than that, if they're not working on the same subjects and same levels and same expectations, I would urge you to use different sessions for that, because I'm only trained in small group and one-on-one instruction, and I don't want to make it more difficult for one student over another student by taking away time that can't be used for one subject or one grade level. What is the not yet mentality? Ooh, that's a big question, and I only have so much time. So, not yet mentality is a belief that the learning process is a process. It's not set in stone. It's not going to be overnight. It's a lifelong process where you develop a learner's profile and you have skills and strategies in that profile that you've adopted over time to become a better learner. And basically, I want to emphasize that struggles do not mean failure. They mean growth is possible instead. So just because you can't do something now doesn't mean you can't do something in the future. Uh, my biggest emphasis there, if you remember nothing else, even if you go off and look at the other video that I post about explaining what a not yet mentality is, just understand that Mr. Yeti, me, wants to help students build confidence, resilience, and grit to persevere. And it's not necessarily my place, again, to replace the learner that is your student. They're the ones that are learning. So my job is really to facilitate that growth mindset. And then finally, number 10, and thank you so much for having patience for this last question to get to a little bit past 10 minutes here. What makes your tutoring different? Not Yet Instruction LLC combines mobility, mentorship, and growth mindset in a way that's not been seen before. So I'm really providing a service that is based off of a program I worked with Boys and Girls Club that basically had like 12 to 15 sites working inside schools, and that was during the school hours for literacy interventions and stuff like that. Really high impact stuff, and the cost of this program costs per site, I think it was like $100,000 to run. I'm really doing this on a shoestring budget, and I'm trying desperately to make sure that I can fit within your needs, but also pay for the advantages of that mobility and that accessibility and that inclusion. So I think that sets me apart. Uh, and then the other thing I want to talk about with besides the mobility aspect is that I just don't teach things. I'm not just purely focused on academics, but I'm inspired by the love of learning and the courage to grow. So I'm very passionate about what I'm doing with your student at any given time, because it's my ultimate goal that this becomes my primary uh, lot in life, my primary business. And I have an extreme joy of seeing students succeed and change and become better learners. And I think that is definitely an approach you want from a, a tutor, even if it's not someone who's working inside the schools, even if it's not a teacher. I'm definitely somebody who's qualified, but at the same time, I'm also playing a different role for your student. And thank you very much. And if you remember nothing else, remember that this channel is going to be popping up for you with free advice, free videos, and any questions that you might have, you can definitely search for them on this channel. I'm planning on posting a lot of them based on this frequently asked questions section. And have a wonderful day, and I hope to hear from you. Thank you. Bye.